Hey everyone, it is July the 7th on Read Through the Word, and it's good to be with you today. I'm sure that you are astute and that you have already figured out the last days, and then these next few days you will see that there is a central theme in these Psalms hidden in there. There are some that don't necessarily, that aren't fully engaged in this theme, but the theme is no doubt there woven within the Psalms, and that is praise, and that is joy, and that is thanksgiving, and all of this is how we are to be responding to the Lord. So today I wanted to just talk about that in our lesson. And maybe at this point today, you could, on the blog, or those of you who are on Facebook, you could, you'd be willing to share something that you want to thank God for. Or perhaps the name, not necessarily the link. We don't want to clog up the Facebook feed, but perhaps if you want to put the name and the artist of a praise song that you're currently listening to, that would be something also that we would enjoy knowing. I love to hear new praise songs, and I actually was going to post one for today, and I decided not to because, well, there's a couple reasons, but it was like a really old one, and anyways, there are songs, and we would love to hear what some of your favorite praise songs on. Some of them may be hymns, some of them may be some of the newer praise songs. Some may be a mix. I mean, I love the way that some of the new artists are incorporating the old lyrics and even some of the old music from the hymns of the day, back in the day when people like me were young. And there are some churches that still sing hymns, and I love that. So, yeah, we're going to talk about praise today and what is good. What is good? The psalmist tells us very clearly what good is. The Hebrew word for good is towb. That B sound, that B letter has the B sound, so it's towb. And it's what is appropriate or becoming. And so what is suitable, proper, and fitting? Those are all synonyms for appropriate and becoming and good. What is suitable, proper, and fitting? What does the psalmist say? Well, the psalmist tells us to give thanks to the Lord. And I almost missed this, but he says specifically Jehovah, which is the all-encompassing God. So to give thanks to him, and we have to remember there's a difference between thanks and praise. Thanks are specifically what he has done and what you have seen him accomplish in your life or for your life. So what can you give him thanks for today? And then the psalmist says what is suitable and proper and fitting is to sing praises to the Most High. And the Most High is Elyown, or El Elyon. And he is the Most High God. So singing praises, and a praise is something that exalts and that lifts his name up as the psalmist says, Elyown, high, the Most High, that lifts him up. In fact, he even talks about later that about exalting, but you, O Lord, will be exalted forever. So a praise, I think, says something specific that God has done in your life, that God is doing in your life. But a praise is exalting and lifting up the name of who God is, apart from what he's done for us. Because if he never did another thing for us, wouldn't Calvary have been enough? But he continues to give. And who he is Jehovah Rapha. He is our healer. He is Jehovah Jireh. He is our provider. He is Jehovah Nisi. He is our banner. He is Jehovah Shalom. He is our God of peace. So there are so many names of God, and those names are attributes of God. And so we just lift him up for who he is in our lives. And then he says what is suitable, proper, and fitting is to proclaim his faithfulness, well, let me get the word out here. Unfailing love. I'm sorry. I'm looking at my notes and I put unfaithful. And that is not right because God is not unfaithful. So I'm correcting myself in time. His unfailing love in the morning. And proclaim means to declare. And it means and declare means out loud. Acknowledge. And how often do I just get up and just take for granted his unfailing love? So what if we started our day as the psalmist says and proclaim to God, but to others? Maybe when we go out in the workplace, maybe we ride public transit or we Uber or carpool to work. Maybe those are places and opportunities for us to proclaim God's unfailing love, the love that never fails us. And then he says, he gives us some instructions for the end as well. He says, what is suitable, proper, and fitting is to proclaim his faithfulness in the evening. You've got unfaithful love that we acknowledge in the morning, and we have his faithfulness in the evening for what he did through the day. I know there are days when just little things in the day have just lined up in good stead for me. And I don't mean like prosperity things. I mean the timing of certain situations. I know that there are days when, like you, we're on a tight schedule. And I care for my parents and take them to their doctor's office appointments and do their shopping for them. And then also on top of that, I have my own family and ministry responsibilities and writing responsibilities. And I'm not telling you anything you don't already know because you have the same thing. We all have responsibilities. But there are days when I start out in the morning and I feel like it's just going to be an overwhelming day and I'm not going to get everything on my list that need to be done. There are things on my list that can slide to the next day, but then there are things on my list that the timing just has to be right. We leave one physician's office and we go to another one, and then they've called in the prescription, and oh my goodness, I hope the prescription is there so that we can just get that and I can get on over to their house and get their medicine set up for the week. And there are times when the timing of everything is just so. And I see his hand of faithfulness as he orders the steps of my day and allows me to accomplish what needed to be accomplished, but also gives me the opportunity in his faithfulness to allow me to accomplish what those extra things on the list. So here's our challenge as we wrap up the teaching for today. Here's the challenge. What if we took these 4 steps? I know that we're already into 7 days of July. so we can't say for the whole month of July, but maybe we go from 7/7 to 8/7 to July 7th to 8/7, 30 days. What if we just like wrote this down on a little sticky note or an index card or piece of paper or something, and we pasted it or fixed it to the mirror or in our car or something to remind us to go through these and just see what happens within 30 days. Just see if our attitude changes, if our heart changes, if we recognize things and we start seeing things that the Lord is doing that we hadn't recognized before. Because He is worthy, so worthy of what is good. We'll see you tomorrow on Read Through the Word.